Hello and welcome back to Race Recap. My name is Jackson. This past weekend we had the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series on their first true short track of the new 2022 season at Richmond Raceway. So the Xfinity Series ran 250 laps, and before we begin today I just want to give a quick announcement, actually two announcements, starting with the Truck Series. I saw Johnny Sauter will be back with ThorSport this weekend in the number 13 truck, just wanted to alert you to that. And also, Sebastian Vettel, who drives the number 5 Aston Martin in Formula One, he actually hadn't been in the first two Grand Prix because of the COVID-19 virus. He's actually gotten it, but I think he will be back for this weekend's Grand Prix in Australia. Now, the Xfinity race looks pretty uneventful. First off, though, it was a Dash for Cash race, the first of 4 of those Dash for Cash races. If you don't know what that is, it's when the first 4 regular season drivers, those going for points in the Xfinity Series from the previous race, which will be COTA, would go the next weekend and have a chance for $100,000. You don't have to win, just to finish ahead of the other 3 competitors. So this weekend, it was AJ Allmendinger, Austin Hill, Noah Gragson, and Sam Mayer. So, the first caution was brought out at the end of Stage 1, which went to John Hunter Nemechek, who's in the 18 this weekend. The second caution was on that restart for debris on track off the 9 Dash for Cash contender Noah Gragson. He actually had brake problems and something flew out from underneath the car. And it didn't end his day, but it really did dash his hopes for a win and a Dash for Cash payout. And then lastly, the third and final caution was the Stage 2 winner, which went to the 54 Ty Gibbs. And the finish did not disappoint. Joe Gibbs' teammates were battling out Ty Gibbs and John Hunter Nemechek. Gibbs was leading it with about 20 to go, and then in the last 5 laps, they went back and forth with the lead, and then with about 3 to go, after John Hunter Nemechek passed Ty Gibbs pretty cleanly, I would say, Ty Gibbs got to the bumper and pushed him out of the way, and they went side by side on the last lap into the final turn, and Ty Gibbs in the 54, I wouldn't say purposely, but he did overdrive the corner a little bit, not to give his teammate Nemechek a chance to roll that top lane. So the Checkers, in a dramatic finish, went to the 54 of Ty Gibbs. And the Dash for Cash winner went to the 1 of Sam Mayer, $100,000 to him. So the top 10 here were Ty Gibbs, John Hunter Nemechek, Sam Mayer, AJ Allmendinger, Riley Herbst, Daniel Hemrick, Josh Berry, Brandon Brown, Ryan Sieg, and Parker Redsloff. How about that? Rounding out top 10. DNFs in this race, Kyle Sieg, Parker Redsloff's teammate and Ryan Sieg's teammate. In the 28, he had engine problems. And lastly, Brendan Poole, glad to see Poole in the car. When the 47, he actually had a rear gear problem, though. So, the next day, it was the Cup Series. They ran 400 laps at Richmond. The first caution was brought out when the 45 of Kurt Busch stopped it on the back straightaway. He would go behind the wall, go over 100 laps down, but would be able to make out a few more laps at the end of it. And then the second caution was the Stage 1 winner, which went to the 12, pole sitter Ryan Blaney. The third caution was the Stage 2 winner, Martin Truex Jr. in the 19. As you know, Joe Gibbs is pretty dominant at this track. And then the fourth caution was brought out on that restart when the 51 of Cody Ware got up into the outside wall. He would have hit it a lot harder if not for bouncing off the side of the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And then the fifth and final caution was on that restart, actually, when the 2 car of Austin Cindric got turned around and made a little slight contact with the rear end of the car with the outside wall, but no major damage. And just like the Xfinity race, this was a pretty crazy finish as well. William Byron was leading it, and behind him was Martin Truex Jr. Jr. was coming. Both of them had stayed out on fuel and old tires, and tires really mattered here at Richmond. And in third, fourth, and fifth, it was Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, and Kevin Harvick, and all 3 of them were coming pretty fast. But in particular, Harvick and Hamlin were coming flying through the field. With 20 to go, they were over 10 seconds behind, but they cut the gap down to just 3 seconds with about 10 to go. And then Hamlin would eventually get to the back of his teammate, Truex Jr., and with just 5 laps to go, he would get by William Byron. So the Checkers went to the 11 car of Denny Hamlin. So the top 10 here were Denny Hamlin after he came in and got some fresh 4 tires, along with Kevin Harvick, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, who slipped back a bit, Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Austin Dillon rounding out top 10. DNFs in this race, Cody Ware in the 51 was out for the accident, and Greg Biffle, glad to see him back in the car. Unfortunately, he was out with suspension problems. Well, that's all for Race Recap. Come join us next weekend when we have all 3 series racing under the lights of the short track of Martinsville.